Hey everybody, welcome back. It's been a while. I've moved and I had a lot going on, but you know what time it is? It's Rastakhan Rumble time. All right. So I haven't done this before, but I thought I'd go ahead and do a pack opening. I got over 250 packs. Paid all the money, getting all the packs, and so I'm going to open them up, and we're going to jump in and see what we get. Hopefully we get a bunch of stuff that we want. I actually went ahead and pre-crafted a couple of cards in gold so that I don't get them. The warrior legendaries, basically, if I craft a couple of cards in gold, that means I'm not going to pull regular versions out of the packs, which means I'm more likely to get the cards I want, and I'm still going to get the cards I want in gold anyway, that I would have to craft and then lose out on value. So it's just better to craft them early. But anyway, this video is going to be long, so let's jump in here and start opening some packs. So with 250 packs, I should, or 261 packs, I should be able to get most of what I want, or pretty much everything except maybe one or two legendaries I might have to craft. But I should get pretty much everything from the game, from this set, by doing this. And as I go along, I can use this as an opportunity to sort of talk about some of the cards that I think are pretty sweet, that I'm excited about. Yeah, to sort of share my thoughts on the expansion, because I haven't been uploading videos, but I have been checking out new updates about the cards and what's going on with the game. So I just saw a dragon in that pack. We should be getting our first free legendary. Yep, there it is. Alright, what's our first legendary? Hexlord Malacras. Add a copy of your opening hand to your hand. Interesting card. I'm curious because I feel like Mage does really well about having value in their decks, right? So I don't know that adding a copy of your hand to your hand is really that good, because it's basically I forget how much mana it is, but it's basically add 3 cards to your hand, because it doesn't add the coin to your hand. It's like add 3 or 4 cards to your hand, but generally speaking, they're going to be early game cards, right? They're going to be early game cards that you want, and so those early game cards are going to not have as much value, right? So I don't know. Like it's going to need a lot of testing to find out whether it's good or not. And after we open all the packs, we'll find out if we did well or not in terms of, you know, okay, in terms of what our drop rate. We'll figure that out. But this card I'm really excited about, Mojo Master Zihi. Battle cries, set each player to 5 mana crystals. That's awesome because basically it's an anti-druid card, because druid ramp has been just running rampant forever, and it's been a big pain in the butt, because like it's the only class that can ramp effectively, and they have so much ramp and they're able to ramp so well. It would be great to be able to sort of interact with them and sort of bring them back down, you know, so give a card that punishes that playstyle, and we got that with Zihi, which is awesome. So I'm really excited about that card. It being a legendary, meaning there's only one copy, and also having it be so specific, is a little weird. But I have not high hopes, but I think it could be really cool. I think it could be a really nice card to put in certain metas, you know. So anytime they add a card that helps answer a problem or a class strategy specifically, that's always good, right? Boom. Yeah, I'm trying to keep moving here, because even if I'm like cranking along, still gonna be, you know, this is still gonna take a while. see here. Golden Epic. Splitting Image. Interesting. Very interesting. So it's like a mirror entity or mirror image. No, mirror entity for your own minions, which is kind of interesting. I like that. Oh yeah, the Dragon Moss Scorcher. So yeah, they're apparently giving dragons to Warrior. Now, I love Warrior, as everyone knows. I'm a huge Warrior nut. Speak of the Devil, another Dragon synergy card for Warrior. But I love Warrior a lot. I love controlling kind of warriors, and I love dragons. I loved Blackrock Mountain when that expansion came out because it was really... dragons are just cool. They're big and beastly, and they just have a lot of lore and power to them, and so they're a lot of fun to play. So I think the idea of sort of giving warriors the dragon package and sort of giving them some really cool specific dragons is cool thematically. I think that's a really cool thing to do. From what I've seen so far, in terms of what the cards are, I'm not too excited about it because I think a lot of the dragon cards we got aren't particularly powerful, right? I mean, the 5 mana 5/5 that gives you 5 armor is awesome. Like, that card's great. Don't get me wrong, because it's a strictly better Shield Maiden. You know, Shield Maiden was a 6 mana 5/5 that gave you 5 armor. That thing was played in every deck ever because it's just good. It's good stat line, good effect, synergizes with what you're trying to do most of the time. Great card. So a 5 mana version of that is awesome. The downside is you have to play a lot of dragons. The sad fact is that a lot of the dragons just aren't that impressive. You know, the neutral 5 mana, I think it's a 3/6 that deals 1 damage to everything, is interesting. Oh, there it was, Ember Skeldrake. Is interesting, but it's not that powerful, you know. So I'm definitely going to be playing Dragon Warrior, but I don't have high hopes for it. Though I think there is going to be a version of it that is competitive, but I don't think it's going to be top tier by any stretch of the imagination. But who knows? That's just sort of my initial take on it. This card's interesting. Devastate. 1 mana, deal 4 damage to a damaged minion. It's like a weird mix between... It's sort of like a replacement for Execute. Like, Execute used to be 1 mana, now we have this, but this is like... I don't know. It's like I would still rather play Execute in a world where Skulking Geist exists, right? It could become a thing where that's actually preferable to Execute, which is interesting. As soon as Skulking Geist rotates out of the game, if people are playing like a lot of mid-game threats, like a mid-range statted threats, like a lot of 5 health stuff, then that could be legitimate, because Execute was so powerful because of its flexibility and its cheap mana cost, you know. That's what made it really great. So maybe I'm not too impressed with it right now, but maybe in the future that thing just becomes awesome. This is interesting. The Druid, you know, using your attack synergy thing. I think that's a really interesting way to go for Druid. Like, forever they were trying to do the oh yeah, here, Dragon Moss Scorcher, 5 mana 3/6, deal 1 damage to all other minions. It's interesting. It's just not that powerful. You know, when Warrior has access to like Blood Razor, and you know, I don't know. It's hard for me to see where this fits in exactly. It's sort of it is literally a Ravaging Ghoul, but it's more expensive, and like I don't know. Like, it feels like it should be good, but at the same time, it just doesn't feel good enough, right? It feels like it's missing something. But yeah, the Druid Beast Druid thing didn't ever quite work. It never quite took off because Druid always had better options. They always had better things to do, right? Oop, next legendary, Grawl the Shark. Yeah, man, I think this card's pretty cool. I like it a lot, actually. Eat a minion in your deck and get its stats. That alone is all right. You know, even if you're getting a 3 mana 3/3 like an SI7 agent, this is a 5-mana 5/5, which is base stats, right? And Rogue doesn't really play many cheap, weak minions. Really, they usually only play like Fireflies, right? So you're probably going to get something decent out of this. Or maybe it's like a 5-mana 5/4 or something, because you got Elven Minstrel, you know. But you get it in your hand, and like, yeah, it's just extra value. It's a decent threat, and if you hit like a really big target, you can just get a ton of value out of it. So I'm excited about it. I don't think it's good right now, but I think it has potential to be a really, really good card. So I'll have to keep an eye on that one as time moves forward. Okay. Arena Patron. Kicking it old school. It's funny to me how much worse that is than Grim Patron. Let's see, Scorch. I think Scorch is kind of cool. I really do love playing that big elemental mage deck, so this is like really sweet removal for that deck, which I think is awesome. You know, I think that's a really cool card to add. Although that deck really abused Book of Specters, so maybe that card just is bad. It's very possible that the fact that you don't want to be hitting spells means that that card just doesn't have a home, really. But it might. You never know. We'll have to wait and see. Demon Bolt. Destroy a minion. Costs 1 less for each minion you control. Interesting. I don't think that's good. If you're playing an aggressive zoo type deck, right, you're going to be winning with tempo. You don't want big removal spells, especially since zoo usually, if their board gets cleared, they really have struggle with refilling the board again. Deal 2 damage, 1 mana. It's pretty good. That seems like a really good shaman card. Has an effect. It's not based on you know, overloading you or anything. So that's kind of cool. This guy's great. Amani Warbear. I mean, 7 mana 5/7 rush taunt. That's a great card. That is an amazing card. That card is going to see so much play. It's an arena monster. In constructed, it's going to see quite a bit of play too. Mark of the Loa. Give minion +2/+4 and taunt, or summon 2 3/2 raptors. Interesting. I don't love it, but it's interesting. Let's see here. I don't like this card. Stolen Steel. Discover a weapon from another class. It's just a filler card. It seems pretty bad. Because Rogue already has access to some amazing weapons. Like, they don't need random weapons. They need to have ways of using their own weapons more effectively. So that was an interesting card. 1 mana 2/2 paladin weapon that deals 5 damage to yourself. So that's very much an aggro tool, right? Which is interesting. They gave, and it's odd, right? So it's interesting they're giving odd paladin a buff in terms of damage output and ways of dealing with the board early. It's very interesting. This guy is cool. The 2 mana 1/3 weapon that gives you it's a 3/3 weapon if you're overloaded. That's just a cool concept. I like this card a lot. It feels like it could be too powerful, but like 1 mana weapons inherently can be really broken. Weapons are very, very powerful. They can scale tremendously fast. So a 1/3 weapon just seems crazy powerful. And so I'm curious to see how that develops. This is interesting. Overlord's Whip, 3 mana 2/4. I don't think it's a card you want to play. It doesn't seem good, honestly, but there may be a way to use it that's really powerful. We'll just have to wait and see. I feel like we're due for another legendary here. So this is random. I actually play quite a bit of Magic the Gathering Arena, and I'm going to be starting to make videos on that sometime in the future. Once the channel grows a bit and gets a little bit bigger, I want to kind of branch out and start doing some Magic the Gathering stuff. But yeah, the thing that I really appreciate in that game is that you can open multiple packs of cards at once, whereas this game you have to just click everything all the time. It takes a long time. This guy's interesting. Zul'jin, cast all spells. You've played this game. Very interesting. His hero power is not that powerful, right? So his new hero power is just deal 2 damage. So it's strong. It's like the upgraded mage hero power. But his actual effect is really dependent on, you know, what you cast, obviously, and your luck. RNG has to be on your side for that one, because it targets random targets. So it's very much feels like a kind of a Yogg-Saron sort of thing, right? But I mean, if you played a bunch of secrets, you know, you can get like, even getting like 4 or 5 secrets all at once could be worth it, you know. So that could be really cool. All right, what do we got here? Let's find another card to talk about. Also, I love the sound effect when the packs open. It's pretty fun. Arena Fanatic. Battle card, give all minions in your hand +1/+1. Interesting. If it was a 3/3, I think that would be very playable. As a 2/3, still playable. Not amazing, though. Ooh, double epic. Sweet. I've always been a fan of the hand buff kind of thing. I think it's really interesting. Adding buffs to minions in your hand is really cool. It never quite worked out, though, I don't think. I think Paladin, during Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, Paladin had a lot of really strong ways of doing that. And even that, when they had all these really strong cards that did it, never quite got there. Of course, back then, it was a kind of an aggro meta, as I recall. It was a very aggressive meta, so spending a turn playing a minion that doesn't really do much, and it just buffs up your future turns, wasn't really good enough. It was good, but it wasn't quite good enough. You know, when you're playing against stuff like Keleseth, where you play a card on turn 2 and it just makes your entire deck beastly, it just seemed so underwhelming, really. Gurabashi Chicken. I don't know how many of these I've gotten, but too many. 4 mana Walk the Plank. I don't think this card's very good. I mean, Assassinate is 5 mana. It's 5 mana destroy any minion. That's 4 mana destroy an undamaged minion. I don't know. I don't feel like it's good enough. Hirik the Bat. 8 mana 1/1. Fill your board with copies of this minion. This minion could be really fun. I don't know if it's good necessarily, but it could be really cool. I'm kind of excited to see how that card develops over time. I think the card that is actually really strong is the other Warlock legendary, the one that lets you, it's 4 mana 3/4. Every time it gets discarded, you get 2 copies of it in your hand. So, and it has lifesteal and taunt. So it's a really strong card, and I think that card definitely has a lot of potential. So I'm sort of excited to see how that develops. A lot of the times in these classes I don't play a lot of Warlock. I don't play a lot of Priest. I play almost no Priest. In those classes, I usually have a kind of a wait and see attitude. I just let other people sort of develop things over time. and I sort of focus on the classes that I like to play most, like Warrior, Rogue, Paladin. Those decks I'm going to be theory crafting, trying out my own stuff, doing that kind of thing. And then the other classes I just sort of let other people handle it. Seems like a lot of people are playing Shaman right now, which is interesting. Shaman did get some interesting cards for sure. Some pretty powerful stuff, some interesting things. So, yeah. Halazi the Lynx. Battlecry. Fill your hand with 1/1 lynxes that have rush. So this is like a really expensive Unleash the Hounds, right? There could be a combo in here that I'm not thinking about, but I'm not too in love with this thing, because these 1/1s are definitely going to cost 1 mana, right? So you get a 5 mana, you get a 3/2, you fill your hand, so then you're going to overdraw, so you need to play something in order to get it out of your hand. Okay, so it's like 6 mana minimum to not overdraw. So it's like 6 mana, 4/3, 1/1 of which has rush. I don't know. It just doesn't seem good enough. It just feels a little underwhelming to me, a little underpowered. Ooh, I got a golden epic there. That was good. Boom. That guy was interesting, the Ornery Tortoise. I'm always kind of interested by the cards that are overstated for their mana cost, but then they come with an extra effect. You know, like cards like Flame Imp. You know, it's a 1 mana 3/2, which is really strong, but you have to take 3 damage to play it. You know, it's interesting to me. It's like you're paying a different cost than just mana to play cards. That's kind of what Shaman's all about, but I don't know. 2 mana Dragon Roar, add 2 random dragons to your hand. I don't think that card's a card you want to be playing. That's my instinct on it. As a warrior player, you know, playing a card that's just a value generator, that doesn't have extra special synergy, just doesn't seem worth it. Especially since random dragons you're going to get are going to be very expensive, and they're going to be like specific to situations. Like they're going to be very specific cards. Like there's just some weird cards you can get in terms of dragons that can really make that card awkward. Mostly I'm thinking of the Drake that changes its health based on how many cards you have. So that could be a little awkward. Like just dragons that are really expensive, like Alexstrasza can be a little strange. You know, Nozdormu, just these really expensive 8/8s, right? So I don't know if that's a card you want. Now, a card like... It's very comparable, I think, to something like Omega Assembly. Now, the thing about Omega Assembly is that it's non-linear, right? So, you know, that thing is always a 2 mana draw 2. Ooh, golden legendary. Oh yeah, and here's the lady I was talking about. When this gets discarded, you add 2 copies to your hand. I think this card is really interesting. I definitely want to try out some discard Warlock and see if this card really becomes something really powerful. Because discard Warlock is interesting to me, but yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, the Dragon Roar is linear, right? So it's always the same effect. But Omega Assembly is non-linear, and you know, getting 3 cards for 1 mana in the late game is really strong. And the mechs are all over the place, but when you pair that with Dr. Boom and they all have rush, suddenly that card gets nuts, right? So if that 2 mana card was like 2 mana, add 2 dragons to your hand, give them rush, it's like, okay, that's different, because now we're getting dragons that have an effect, but also you're getting a bonus, some kind of bonus effect, right? That would be like super good, and I think you would always play that card because it's value and it's like pseudo removal, right? But just as a flat 2 mana, add 2 dragons to your hand, I don't know that it's good enough to make the cut a lot of the time, in like a control dragon style deck, you know, and that's the only place you'd play it because it's a value card. So I don't know. It'll require a bit of testing. Maybe it's a one of. I don't know, but not quite seeing it. This is interesting too. The mage spell, elemental evocation. Yeah, evocation. Yeah, elemental evocation. Yeah, that's cool. It's like it's like a minion specific prep. That's really cool. I think that's really, really cool. I think that card's legit good. It's only elementals, which really restricts it, which is really good. You do not want to give a class a minion prep, right? Like that's what Druid had for a while. Is Druid had 2-mana Innervate, and they could do anything they wanted with it, you know. So that was kind of ridiculous. This is like elemental specific, which I think makes it totally fair. I think that's really interesting. I think this little guy right here, the Bloodsail Howler, is actually pretty good, especially with the new Shark Fin fan. I think Pirate Rogue is definitely a thing. As far as what the best list is, I don't know, but there's some really good pirates in here, and pirates I feel like are always on the verge of being good. You know, they're always right there. So getting some new pirate synergy could really make Pirate Rogue a big scary thing. How are we doing? We got 115 left. Wow, that was a heck of a pack. Jeez. Oh yeah, the Pyromaniac. 3 mana, 3/4. Whenever your hero power kills a minion, draw a card. That's interesting to me because, moreover, because Mage got all these cards that synergize with their hero power, and they even got that card, the 7 mana 4/4, that if you dealt 8 damage with your hero power, you get to summon Ragnaros. I don't know that card is worth it. I don't know if it's really worth it, but I think it's an interesting direction to go with Mage. It's sort of this very specific hero power manipulation thing with Mage is really interesting. So I'm really... Oh, speaking of the devil, Janalai, the Dragonhawk. This card, I think, is interesting. I think this whole idea of this very specific Mage hero power manipulation thing is really cool. So I'm excited to see that. In other expansions, they've tested it with like all the classes, right? Baku and what's her name? I forget the 6 mana 6/3 that swapped your hero power from TGT, the Grand Tournament. I forget what her name is, but she sort of did that too. We've manipulated with hero powers, but kind of across the board. And I think it's really cool to sort of get deep with one class. And I think if you were going to do that with one class, it should be Mage, because Mage definitely... ooh. No, it's not a great card, but okay. I think Mage is the first class you get to play in the game when you first play the game, because the hero power is very easy to understand, and it's very versatile. It's very easy to sort of jump in and... I get to show off my 2 packs of every expansion. Except for the gold ones. I gotta get one more gold one. But those are kind of hard to come by. But yeah, I think it's really a cool thing. I'm gonna enjoy playing both the Elemental Mage again and seeing if that Elemental Innervate thing is worth it. And also playing with Hero Power Mage, which could be really cool. Especially if you play John Alai and you like Zole it, right? So you're getting like double Ragnaroses and stuff. That could be really cool. Not to be greedy or anything, but it could be really cool. Alright. So we're still missing quite a few legendaries here. Trying to think of... There's a couple neutral legendaries we haven't gotten. I think we need... There's a Druid one we need. There's a Shaman one we need. We got both the Warlock ones. We got one of the Hunter ones. I don't think we have any of the Priest ones. but we're getting there. I think we're due for another legendary here. These cards are interesting, the 0 attack ones with stealth that offer an effect. I'm really curious if those are going to be any good. Like, really curious, because they offer interesting effects, but they don't actually do anything really on their own. I was looking at the warrior one, the 1 mana 0/3 that gives your rush minions immune. I think that's really interesting to me. It seems strong, but it doesn't seem super strong, and you'd have to play a ton of rush minions to really make it worth it. So I don't know. They added the new rush legendary, which I crafted already. 8 mana 5/5 rush guy. I don't know, man. Like, I think the rush warrior thing was really close to being good. Like, Kibler managed to get legend with it a few times, like 2 or 3 seasons in a row with rush warrior. He was able to get legend, even though everyone sort of thought it was like a tier 4 deck. It was not. It was sort of this weird corner case deck, but he was doing decent with it, and they've added some more functionality to it since then. So I'm gonna be doing some rush warrior too. I think that's gonna be really cool. A lot of stuff to test in warrior. Pirate rogue, I'm gonna test that out, see if that works. Just lots of stuff to play. And right now is the time when things get really interesting expansion wise, because this is the last expansion before rotation, right? So next year we're going to be hitting rotation, and rotation is going to cause us to lose just a bunch of cards, and it's going to really shake things up. We're going to lose all the Death Knights. It's going to be crazy. Zentimo, whenever you target a minion with a spell, it also targets adjacent ones. Interesting. I really don't know if that's good. In terms of removal, it sort of makes every removal spell for Shaman a mini meteor, which is kind of interesting. I think it's more relevant in terms of like buffs, because Shaman wants to be like flooding the board. Oh, you know what? It would work with Rockbiter Weapon. That could be interesting. So you play that guy, you Rockbiter Weapon something, and then you get double Rockbiter Weapon or triple Rockbiter Weapon effect. That actually could be a thing, right? Because that thing costs... Would that thing cost 1 mana? No, 3 mana. Yeah, you could like play that, Rockbiter, Bloodlust, and just like go nuts or something. Yeah, I don't know. There's some weird things with that. I don't think it's good, but it has the potential to actually become kind of OP over time, right? If they print cards that support that idea. I think as it stands, it's not super good, but we'll have to see. I'm trying to think, did I get the other Shaman legendary yet? I don't know. Oh, here's another one. Ooh, the Undertaker. I think this card's interesting for like Fatigue Warrior. I think you could make a Fatigue Warrior with Direhorn hatchlings, right? So you're like Direhorn hatchling, Faceless Manipulator. You get 3 Direhorn hatchlings to die. Then you play this guy, he dies, and he puts, 3 more Direhorn Matriarchs in the deck. So you're ending up with 6 Direhorn Matriarchs in the deck. So you're basically playing with like a 36 card deck, and they're all 6/9, 5 mana 6/9 guys. That's just nuts. It just gives you such a massive fatigue advantage for Warrior. Of course, Warrior doesn't really need that much extra oomph, but there's some there's some potential there. There's some cool opportunities waiting to be explored with that one. I'm sure that seems like it's such a powerful effect that I feel like somebody's going to find something broken to do with it, right? Somebody somewhere will make that happen, because it's sort of like a Carnivorous Cube effect, right? Except you don't need the minion on the field, you just need it to have died that game. So that's like really, really strong. It's just, yeah, it's like could almost be game breaking potentially. See, it just depends what kind of death rattles there are and what people come up with. All right, so we got 55 left. I think we're doing okay time-wise, but I want to keep cracking along on this. Grifta. Battle card. I discovered 2 cards. Give one to your opponent at random. I don't see how that card could possibly be good. It definitely feels like a filler card. Though it could be really funny. I'm sure there's going to be some awesome highlights with that card, but I don't think it's a card you'd actually want to put in your deck. Like, it might be worth it if it was overstated, right? If it was like a 4-mana 5/5, okay. You know, then we're talking, then it gets interesting, right? Because then it's like a coin toss, right? So you're getting a 4-mana 5/5, but then it's a coin toss whether or not your opponent gets a good card or not. Or you can just pick 2 bad cards, right? You just pick 2 cards that are equally bad, and then the opponent is guaranteed to get a bad card. You're guaranteed to get a bad card too, but you get a 4-mana 5/5, so you're playing above the curve. Could be interesting, but as it stands, it's just a Chillwind Yeti with a kind of weird effect that doesn't really benefit you as much as it probably benefits your opponent, right? So that kind of relegates it to not good. Stealth for 1 turn. Whenever you summon a beast, give it 1/1. That's kind of interesting, I guess. If you can, like, pair this with Unleash the Hounds or something, maybe. Could be interesting. $37. Let's see if we can get this done in the next, like, 5 minutes or so. Thank you guys for coming along on this pack opening journey. I know people like to watch pack openings. I feel like they can get a little monotonous sometimes, so I'm sort of hoping that the commentary on some of these cards will help you keep you a little interested. This guy's interesting, actually. Zandalari Templar. Battlecry. If you've restored 10 health this game, gain 4/4 and taunt. That's really interesting. This heal paladin thing that they're doing with paladin this time is super interesting. The new legendary, the 4-mana 3/4 that converts all of your health except for 1 to armor is really sick. Because the biggest problem with heal, I tried to make heal paladin work before. The biggest problem with heal paladin is that a lot of the cards you want to be playing don't actually activate unless you're damaged. So if you're playing a deck that's really slow, that's not damaging you, you can't actually get a lot of your combos and stuff to work. So it's a huge hurdle, and it was a big problem for that deck. It was always kind of the big sticking point with that deck. But with this heal paladin thing where you can damage yourself on purpose, all the way down to 1 health, but you still get to keep all your health via armor, you can actually just like have so much sustain that it's really, really impressive. So I think that card is kind of opening up a whole new archetype. And the problem is it's legendary, and since legendaries are one-ofs, it gets really difficult to build a deck around it. Now, depending on the deck, you can maybe use like tutor effects, like maybe you're able to use Witchwood Piper to get it out fairly quickly. Potentially, that's really difficult though, but there is definitely potential. There's definitely some real interesting potential in that heal paladin kind of deck. So I'm really excited to play that. It's going to take a lot of science to figure that one out though. Right. 24 to go. I'm hoping to get 2 more legendaries. That's a little above the curve in terms of the number of legendaries, but we'll see. So we're opening 260 packs. 260 packs mean we should be opening 13 legendaries. right? So we should be opening, on average, you get one legendary per 20 packs. So we're opening 260 packs. We should be getting 13 legendaries plus the free one. So that's 14 legendaries, and we crafted 3 of them. So we should end up with 17 legendaries total from this expansion. Anything more than that, we went above the curve, which is great. Anything below that means we kind of got screwed. We went under the curve. And over all these expansions, I've kind of gone both sides. I've both gone over and under the curve, depending. So I remember Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, I got screwed. I got like no legendaries. It was awful. It was really brutal. I forget what the other expansion was. I got like everything. I only bought like 200 packs and I got everything. It was crazy. Captain Hooktusk. I don't think this card is particularly good, but maybe. I don't know. Gonna have to play with it a bit and see what happens. But let's hope we can find one more legendary. We have a decent odds at it. Just gotta hope. Coming into the home stretch. Hopefully we don't have to craft too much. I just used a bunch of my dust crafting those 3 golden legendaries, and I'm probably gonna have to craft some more stuff for my golden warrior, so avoiding crafting legendaries would be ideal. Alright, here we go. Come on, where's our other legendary? Come on! I want to see it! No, okay. Oh, I screwed up. I should have used the Rastakhan card back. Oh, what a fool I am. If I don't hit my drop rate, that's the reason why. I forgot to add the drop rate. I forgot to add the card back. I wasn't showing respect to the expansion. Golden rare. Okay, 3 more to go. Hey, there we go. Yeah, here we go. 3 mana, 3/4. High Priest the Call. Yes, I was just talking about it. Convert all but one of your hero powers health into armor. That card is nuts. It's awesome. Alright, here we go. Second to last one. And we're going to savor this last one. Alright, what do we got? A rare. Basic pack. Always end on a basic pack. That's the way to do it. But yeah, so I keep 2 of them because I keep 2 of every single expansion. And so it's going to keep adding to the pile. Alright, let's go to the collection. Let's go to crafting. 10,000 dust. Oh boy, 10,000 dust. Here we go. Nice. Okay, back at the 19,000 dust. Alright, we're going to switch over to Rastakhan's Rumble. I'm going to do Legendary. We're going to see what we're missing. So, we're missing War Druid Lati, which I think is an interesting card, really. Transform into Lati's 4 dinosaur forms. As I recall, the different forms are pretty varied. This is very much a Swiss Army knife card, which is really cool. That's what Druid's all about. Got both Hunter cards, got both Mage cards, got one of the Paladin cards, missed this one, Shirvala the Tiger. I know everyone's super excited about this card, but I'm not quite seeing it yet. I'm not seeing it just yet. I still feel like I don't know. I don't get it, but we'll see. Maybe somebody comes up with a deck where all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, this card makes sense. But for now, not there. Not feeling it. Got none of the Priest cards, which is hilarious because I don't play Priest at all, so that works. I don't have any incentive to play either of these, so I'll let somebody else deal with that. Got both the Rogue ones. Got one of the Shaman ones. Let's see what the other one is. Krag'wa the Frog. Battle Cry. Return all spells you played last turn to your hand. It's a value generator. I don't feel like Shaman needs a value generator card. I don't think that's a thing, really, that Shaman wants or needs. I mean, they have HUZZAH, and they're going to keep HUZZAH during rotation. HUZZAH is like the ultimate value generator, so I don't think they need value. So I don't think this card's going to see all that much play, really. And a 6-mana 6/4 stat line wise, not that impactful. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe somebody comes up with something really cool. This card looks awesome in gold. Cool pickup. Got both those. Got both the warrior ones already. So War Master Voon, this guy is like a value generator for warrior with dragons, but you get exactly the dragons you want, which I think makes him kind of cool. And I have all of the warrior legendaries in gold anyway, so I don't know if this guy is great, but I went ahead and crafted him. This guy, I think Akali the Rhino is actually awesome. I think this guy is great in Rush Warrior. This guy is the reason to play Rush Warrior. You know, this guy is just awesome. He's so good. And that's going to really be a lot of fun to play with this guy, so I'm really excited to play with him later. And then in terms of neutrals, we got all of them except for Hakara the Soul Flayer, but I don't think this card's any good. This is definitely a meme card, so it actually reminds me of the guy that used to transform your hero into Ragnaros. That guy was very similar and definitely a meme card as well. But yeah, so I think we did pretty well here. I think we got pretty much everything we'd want. I think in terms of crafting, I think Wardroid Lottie, Shrivala the Tiger, and I think that's it, really. I think those are the only two I'd really want. So I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and create the Druid one. So we got that, and we'll go ahead and Shrivala, I don't know if I want to make it gold or not, so I'm actually going to hold off on that for a little bit, but I'm definitely going to craft it eventually. I'm just curious if I want to craft it in gold. But anyway, this is a long video. Thank you guys for watching. Welcome back to the channel. Love having you here. Love having you guys with me as I'm playing with Hearthstone, doing some stuff, and expect to see some fun videos coming out this whole week as I'm playing all sorts of different decks with the expansion and having a lot of fun testing stuff out. So look forward to that, and I will see you guys later.